Thank you so much, and welcome to PostgresOpen, and good morning. Fantastic, and I'm so happy to be here and talking on behalf of Microsoft. And my theme today is to address what Microsoft is doing with Postgres, and especially with Citus Data after we acquired them earlier in the year. So before I start, I want to play a video. And it's a minute and 27 seconds, and then we can get started.
How do we empower every person and every organization on the planet to achieve more?
It starts with one.
One employee.
One partner.
One customer.
From one employee to a team collaborating with another team.
From one partner and their partners to their partners'
partners.
From one customer to their customers to their customers' customers.
Helping local communities, creating jobs, increasing productivity for the global economy.
Our society.
Our world.
That's the impact.
That's the impact.
That's the impact each of us can have.
That's our opportunity. 100,000 employees.
17 million partners.
7 billion people on the planet.
100 to 17 to 7. To make every small business more productive.
To make every large business more competitive.
To make every government more responsive.
To expand access to education.
To improve healthcare outcomes. And to amplify human ingenuity.
When we empower every person and every organization on the planet to achieve more, we empower the world.
Okay, so you saw this 100, 17, and 7. And these three numbers have a strong sense of purpose inside of Microsoft. What it is talking about is collectively, with 100,000 Microsoft employees and 17 million partners, we have an opportunity to impact 7 billion people on the planet. With the sense of purpose, and the sense of purpose being empowering every person, every organization in the planet to achieve more through using the power of technology and influencing the lives of people. And this sense of, this sense of purpose is foundational in how Microsoft approaches and is driving its core strategy. For Microsoft, trust with customers and partners is of paramount importance. And trust is in the middle, is at the center of every relationship that Microsoft has with customers and partners. And particularly, with the investments that we have been driving in open source, we have and open source, in particular, is becoming the center of a huge journey that we are going to be starting. And Postgres, and our partnership with Postgres, is at the core of these investments. And I'm so excited, and I'm delighted to be here and talking and sharing that story with all of you today. So if I go on to talk about why Postgres, what's happening on Postgres. There's a lot of things happening with Postgres, and it has a staying power. It's regarded as one of the most robust databases in the world. And that is possible, and that has been possible due to 30+ years of engineering investments and engineering input that has gone into what Postgres has become today. It's one of the most, I regard this as one of the most versatile databases in the industry today, powered by the extensibility that Postgres enables. And it's no wonder, it's no surprise that developers are rated Postgres 2 years in a row and being ranked as the database DBMS of the year. Even by Stack Overflow developer survey, it was rated as the most wanted and loved database in the industry. And just when I look at the innovations going on to the upcoming Postgres 12, I'm so excited to see the various different improvements going on in PostgreSQL. I'm excited about the potential of the pluggable storage, which will fuel and bring new set of developers to come join the Postgres community and contribute. Or be it improvements in the foundational, in the fundamentals, whether be it in the B-tree optimizations, or in the gist indexes, or partitioning. All these innovations are very meaningful, and I can say that as Microsoft has a fully managed service of Postgres and catering to tens of thousands of customers, these have been pain points that customers have been telling us for years. And I'm so happy that PostgreSQL is bringing these improvements and enhancements, and I can't wait to see what Postgres 13 has to give all of us. And why enterprises and why customers love Postgres? First of all, it loves Postgres because, and they're choosing Postgres because it's open source. There's no cost to the IP. But more importantly than these peripherals that everybody cares about in open source, they really like the innovation. They like the fact that it is so reliable. They like the fact that it's so feature-rich. And it is really helping them solve difficult, critical problems, where previously, if they have to go build their solutions using many and integrating many different technologies and solutions, they can do it all on one platform, which is Postgres. And in Azure, our approach has been to take the same awesomeness of what Postgres delivers at its core and bring it to our end users, our enterprise customers. So our approach has been to build on top of the open source community version and then integrate and provide a cloud-native capability of what then means to bring Postgres in the cloud. It's not about just automating backup and recovery and availability. It's not to say these are not essential and important elements that enterprise and customers are looking for as they are choosing Postgres. But it is about also, when they are coming to the cloud, what more can they get because of the power of the cloud? And what does cloud native really mean? Where things like availability, security is not a feature. It's built in. And it is also about not just exposing and bringing the full functionality of Postgres, which is important, and that's what we do every day, but it is also about what other things that you can bring in terms of intelligence, in terms of leveraging the power of supporting millions of databases, what machine learning and what other technologies we can bring in order to make the experience of using Postgres better. And that's how we are and where we are investing in areas of intelligent security, intelligent performance, so that we can reduce the friction and we can bring value that otherwise they would not get running Postgres anywhere else. And also integrating it with all the other services and products to provide that rich developer end-to-end experience. It's not just about the database. Database is a means to an end. Database enables innovation. The innovation is happening in the application. So we have to democratize. We have to reduce that barrier. You have to reduce that cost of complexity of managing database and make it simple and seamless to build applications with. And this is what we have been doing for the last 12 months, bringing rich set of innovations and features and capabilities, and the list goes on and on. And this goes to the investment that we are making in quickly bringing the capabilities that we need that our customers and developers are demanding from Microsoft. Now, supporting Postgres to customers, and as Postgres has been growing, we are seeing many of these customers are choosing Azure as the platform to run their applications. We have several applications, several enterprise customers and startups and ISVs that are more and more going behind Postgres. And if I have to categorize where those key themes that are building that is driving adoption of Postgres. Number one, it's digital transformation. Every industry is getting disrupted. Developers are driving that disruption. Developers are empowered to choose the technologies. And as these new applications that are developed to support digital transformation initiatives, they are increasingly happening. These new applications are happening and getting built around and using Postgres. Many ISVs, as they are looking at modernizing and looking and tapping into the opportunity of the cloud, they are embracing build once, deploy into any cloud to tap into the overall addressable market that they want to achieve to cater to their customers. And as they are choosing the technology or the pieces of the components to build those ISV applications, they are building it with Postgres because Postgres is everywhere and it's open source. And we all know and have heard about, as customers are looking at modernizing their applications, reducing cost so that they can invest in their innovation, they are looking at migrating off Oracle. Oracle is a $12 billion revenue generating for Oracle Corporation. And many of these applications and many of these customers are looking to migrate to Postgres because of the familiarity and similarities that exist between Oracle and Postgres. So these themes are what we fuel, what we see in Microsoft as fueling the momentum around Postgres. What has been our learnings around Postgres in particular as we look at these applications getting built? What are some of the challenges that they are facing? First, app developers. What I mean by this is that traditionally, database used to be managed by DBAs. But now, many of these new applications are being built by application developers. Application developers are not the DBAs. So they need experiences, and they don't necessarily have all the skills and capabilities to go and tune and leverage all the different sets of features. While features are good, features are great, application developers don't have a way to actually understand and know how to use it more effectively. We see that resonating each and every day as we work with our enterprise customers. Postgres is great. DBAs love it. But how do we bring it and make it simple for application developers to use Postgres and reduce the friction? There's a huge amount of opportunity ahead of us in actually catering and driving the roadmap of Postgres with application developers in mind, not necessarily features and capabilities that DBAs feel very proud about. Second, scale. As Postgres is entering into new markets, and these applications that are like as part of the digital transformation that are getting built, most of these applications are using the essence of data and AI to build disruptive applications that bring competitive advantage to these businesses. So the data volume Postgres has to handle and to power this application is significantly orders of magnitude higher. So they demand, so when they are taking a bet on Postgres, they also want to see the power, they want to see the scalability of Postgres. They want to know how far Postgres will take them as they are betting on Postgres and making that as a database of choice. Because refactoring and changing the data and changing the choices later on is not very productive. It's very expensive. So also critical to meet the scalability needs of these applications. Third, security and trust. Enterprise care about security and trust, the privacy of their end customers. So protecting and making sure that they have these auditing capabilities that can meet the scale of these applications. Encryption, preventing and adding and providing technologies that allows them to protect breaches of data is of paramount importance to these enterprises. And finally, end-to-end solutions. And this ties back to the app developers. Postgres is sitting inside an ecosystem of applications. So making that application development seamless, from the continuous integration development all the way to operating and managing that application with Postgres in the context, is significant and is becoming more and more important to these developers or to these enterprise developers. And these challenges are what is influencing us, is telling us in areas we want to invest and where we want to innovate. And this innovation journey starts with us committing to the open source philosophy and contributing back to the open source. Earlier in the year, we acquired Citus Data. And that was essentially to address the key challenge our customers were facing as they were taking a bet on Postgres about meeting the scalability of their applications. With Citus, developed as an extension to open source Postgres, it provided a very effective way for enterprises to bet and take this technology, take a single node Postgres and scale it across hundreds of nodes. And the thing doesn't just stop with Citus and providing the scalability. It is also about addressing other needs, like the application developer, addressing the needs of the application developers, the end-to-end solutions. We saw a need where developers needed rich tools in order to operate and in order to operate and manage their databases. So we invested in Azure Data Studio, which is a cross-platform multi-OS, multi-database tool, which initially started its support with SQL Server, and we extended that to include Postgres as well. And that's released as an open source for anyone to use. And that is how we are democratizing and we are bringing the rich experiences that we have in Microsoft and bringing those tools and bringing those assets back to the community so the broader user base can start leveraging and take advantage of them. And also, several different extensions like Top-N, HLL, these are all now supported, maintained, authored, and kept current by Microsoft. Back in May, we released a new extension called PG Auto Failover. And this represents our commitment to making Postgres better, simpler, catering to the application developers and removing their pain points and grow the adoption and the user base of Postgres. And our approach doesn't just stop with contributing and making these extensions available and so on. It is also working with the community. It's the pursuit of bringing the best of what Postgres has to offer, the ecosystem has to offer, and make that available on the Microsoft Azure platform. And that is what drives us in creating those partnerships with Timescale, with Hasura, with Heimdall, and many more that we want to continue to partner and bring the best of all of these technologies to Microsoft. And if I have to talk about the impact these innovations are making, this Azure Data Studio, which was released back in May, now has 10,000 daily active users. It's managing over 85,000 databases across the world. It has rich SQL notebook capability and the Jupyter Notebook integration, making interactive dashboards very, very simple and very easy. The new extension that we released, PG Auto Failover, has been also gaining a lot of positive responses from customers. It was born out of a very simple pain point that why configuring high availability has to be a problem. Why do me as a customer have to integrate disparate pieces from multiple places to configure my HA? And then all the potential challenges and the mistakes that can happen, which can significantly bring the database down. That was the necessity that we found there was a real opportunity and why we invested in creating this PG Auto failover extension. And we are looking forward to actually continuing to enhance and bring more value. Like, for example, the next innovation that we are working on for PG Auto failover is to support multiple replicas so that you have more than one replica to fail over to. The Citus community extension continues to accelerate. Just to give the stats, 14,000 downloads a year back, a year fast forward, it's 32,000 downloads. And it is going and being embraced even faster. Just past July, a couple of months ago, we released Citus 8.3 with several performance enhancements. And we're looking forward to bring Citus 9.0, which will have support for PostgreSQL, more performance improvements, distributed store procedures, etc. So we are completely committed in our investments on these open source technologies, on these extensions, contributing back and bringing that value onto the Azure as a fully managed service. And as much as I can stand here and talk about all the customers, external customers that are using this, if you are using Windows 10 device today, you are touching Postgres and Citus, and I want you to know that. All the key critical system in Microsoft, in the Windows team, that has to make a decision whether the next fix pack is ready and is of high quality, that system is backed and is supported by Postgres running on Citus across a cluster of 2,000 cores, 18 terabytes of memory, and over a petabyte of storage, delivering queries, 95% of the queries in less than 4 seconds. This is the scale that we talk about and the types of applications that are going to get built with Postgres. And we are here to support that journey, working with the community. These are all the different sessions we have at the PostgresOpen conference this week. Please visit us at the booth, or please join their presentations to learn more of all these extensions and anything else that you want to talk about Postgres and Microsoft. We are more than happy to help field those answers. Thank you, and have a great conference.